The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Welcome to one more show, The Hot Seat. And don't get scared by the name. That's usually what I say. Don't get scared because 99.9% of the shows are about politics and bad news. And so this was something, an idea that I had for a while, and I just said, why not? I want a hot topic. I want a hot name, so Hot Seat. But what we do is we invite people known on the community for anywhere, any place. But they're well known in the community. But the community actually don't know the other side of this person. Things like foods and drinks and what they like to do on their free time. And that's what we're going to find out today. And on the hot seat today is my friend Paul Coogan.
Thanks for having me, Carlos.
Thank you for accepting the challenge.
Anytime.
I had a few there sitting in there and said, I thought it was going to be a lot worse than this.
We'll be fine. I've known you a long time.
Paul, Paul, it's a familiar face on the community. Everybody knows. But if I let you to introduce yourself, how you will introduce yourself?
I would say my name's Paul Coogan. I'm a member of the Fall River School Committee. I worked for a number of years for the Fall River Public Schools, mainly at Durfee High School as a vice principal, where I had the pleasure to get to know thousands of kids and their parents, staff. Durfee's a huge school and it's a big cog in this city. It really helped me get well known, and then when I decided to run for office, it worked out very well. But I think people know me as a straight shooter and someone that is very visible in the community. I'm always around. People always say they see me, so it makes you feel good.
And a good friend.
To you, yeah.
I know Paul for my daughters were in school when I met you, and since then you've been a friend. We've been a couple of times at different sides of the stage, but we always respect each other. We always share our ideas, even if we don't agree with them. But we move on, and just not too long ago, we were on opposite stages, but we are today, and as friends and doing this show. Paul, any nicknames?
No, people just call me by my last name, Coogan. That's all they call me, Coogan.
Coogan.
Or Coog. Some will call me Cougs. Coogan's fine. I answer to that for the kids. They say Coogan. It's like, that's the name. Not many people call me Paul. They all call me Coogan.
And if you had to change instead of Paul, do you have an idea what name you would like to be called? Usually it's good for a teenager. If you ask this question to a teenager, he has a second name.
No, I don't. I've been with this one so long, I'll stand pat.
I'm pretty sure you're a pet lover, so you like cats, dogs?
My wife likes cats. I like dogs. We've tried to have a couple, but it's chaotic. You're trying to do things, and you have to worry about a pet. So I know we'll get one again eventually, but right now we have none.
Actually, a pet takes a lot of
time.
It's part of your life. If you want to treat the dogs and the cats, that takes definitely. If you like to start conspiracy, do you have any idea what did you ever thought about? Like a conspiracy that you would like to, it's Today it's conspiracy about everything. Everything we changed, it becomes a conspiracy. You don't recall anything that.
I would have to say I'm a realist. Okay, I deal in reality. When you run for office in Fall River politics, there's a lot of conspiracies out there, and people always think. I love it when I hear things that people think I'm doing or someone else is doing, and they know it's for sure, but it's not, because of just what you asked me about the conspiracy theories. Everything is not a conspiracy. Some people are straight up, but it makes for great TV shows, and for people to think they know things, it's great. I don't mind it, but
you know plenty of it.
I know plenty of them. I hear them, and I'm like, oh, that can't be true. That's not true. But you do yourself. You say, is that true? And
exactly.
that's how we deal with things in Fall River.
On the foods, I have in here hot dogs, sandwiches. Which you have any preference?
I'll tell you what I like. I like the small cut of prime rib at the Liberal Club. I'm a staple there. I know the family that owns the place very well. The kids that work there are all mostly former Durfee kids. I would like that. I like Italian food. I like Portuguese foods. I go to Caravella regularly for the chicken plate. That's fine with me. Nothing expensive. I'm fine.
So you cannot miss that cassoulet sandwiches and chorizo sandwiches.
That's all fine with me. I'm a good eater. There's no problem there.
Music, any style in particular that you like?
Well, I grew up, obviously, 70s rock. I try to tell everybody the best day of my life was I saw Led Zeppelin at the Providence Civic Center. $5.50 a ticket. The kids don't believe it when I would tell them at Durfee, because they don't see me that way, but that's when I was a kid back in 74, 75, whatever it was, but it was back then. It was a different time, and the prices were a lot less because everybody made a lot less. So it was par for the course. But I still go. It's funny you bring up music. I'm going tonight to the Narrows to see the lead singer of the Moody Blues, Justin Hayward. He's doing a show there, and then Thursday night we're going back for a comedy show. So I still like going out to shows and seeing good concerts. We went to the Tweeter Center a little while ago, Xfinity Center, whatever they call it, and saw a couple bands. So I still get around.
Any favorite singer?
I used to always like Linda Ronstadt. I liked Linda Ronstadt a lot.
Not from my time.
No. She was really good. Jackson Browne, that era. Led Zeppelin, of course, back for the rock days. But those are the people I liked.
If you had to describe your life in one word, do you have that word?
I don't know if I could do it in one word. I would probably call it something like chaos leveling out to normalcy, or perceived normalcy.
I have another question that I say, if I had to do a movie of your life, what the title will be. So I guess that will be
Chaos to normalcy. That's good.
Let me see. Coffee, water?
Coffee. I'll drink coffee in the morning, not all day. I'm not one of the all-day coffee. I have a couple cups in the morning, and I'm ready for the day. Water.
Are you into jokes?
Sure. Going to the comedy show Thursday night, see Steve Sweeney.
Do you know any?
I don't know. Please, I see jokes everywhere I go, but they're more real. It's like I laugh like you just laughed there. It's like that's not really a joke. It's just the way we live.
Did you had any moment that you say that you were on the wrong time, on the wrong place at the wrong time?
Oh yeah.
That if you could go back, you would not place yourself on that place?
I think why I was so successful with a lot of the kids at Durfee was because when I went to Durfee, I did not apply myself. I was not a great student. I was probably a C, B student, and that was completely lack of effort. My sisters, they were all 1 or 2 in the class. They were all ranked way up there, but I didn't apply myself. I ended up leaving Durfee, lost, and then went to work. Then I enrolled at Bristol Community College and got myself back on track. And I went from here to at then SMU, found my way with education and got myself certified to teach, and didn't really get a job. I mean, I got one at first at St. Vincent's Home, working in a self-contained special needs classroom for 2 years. My starting pay, so everybody will know what I made, was $7,200 a year. Again, that was probably 76, 77. I did that for a couple of years. Then I drove a truck. I worked for my uncle at the State House, and then I got into teaching. But all those things were steps on the path to where I was going and where I ended up, and it was all for the better. That's what I mean by chaos. A little of it was a little jumpy for me, but I got through it.
If you have to identify yourself with some movie that you can kind of identify yourself, you have any? Can you relate yourself into a?
I don't know if I can relate myself into them. I have, again, before your time, Carlos, so don't make fun of me. I go back, I look at the Godfather Part 2. You look at
I know The Godfather, though.
The Godfather Part 2 was where they really got into the mental side of the mafia and running a family and the business side of it. And I thought that was, it was ruthless, but it was very cunning, and they kept moving. I liked that. I also liked old movie called Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro. You know, I enjoy movies right now. And now I watch these sci-fi things because I don't want to watch reality anymore, so I go escape doing that.
Any favorite color?
Maroon, red and black, maroon, Durfee colors.
Oh.
I'll go with that.
That should not even be a question.
I've lived in them for my whole life.
I like the black. I don't like the red.
Well, that's our colors.
Are you afraid of anything?
You know, you walk into a violent situation, you always get, you know, you tense up and you get afraid. But I'm not like afraid. I remember that was one of the things I always enjoyed about being at Durfee was if, you know, you see these kids, I call them rock and roll kids. They're the little tougher kids. They may be the kids that are going down the wrong path, but if you just walk right up to them and talk to them, they'll always respond to you. But they can sense if you're afraid, so you can't really show them you're afraid. Yeah, what's going on? What's going on, Carlos? That's how you talk to them. And you bring them out. I'm not really like that. I'm not thinking much about being afraid.
Is a job that you like to have, that you end up in teaching, but it was a job that you had a dream of having?
Maybe a lawyer. I took the LSATs way back then, but I could only get into a few schools, and they weren't around here. It was very expensive. So I'm glad I didn't, because where I ended up was a good fit for me. I liked where I was. I was very happy at work. Never took time off. Never was late. Never left early. I liked being there. I liked being around the kids, and I liked being around the staff. There was a lot of good people and kids at Durfee. Like your daughter. I mean, those are the kind of kids. They didn't even need me. They didn't need me, but you'd bring them to you and try to get them to talk to you about stuff that was bugging them. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Did you ever had like a strange gift?
A strange gift?
Yes. Did you ever got a strange gift that you really didn't know where that came from?
Well, when I retired, they gave me a big picture with all the kids wrote on it. That would be a strange gift to me, because I was like, what am I going to do with this now? I don't know. It's great, but I don't know where I'm going to put it.
Before you had an office. Now you don't have an office.
If I put that up in the house, then you'll be saying, did you have a strange death? Because my wife would kill me.
Who you think should quit his job? Her job?
Who do I think should?
Yes.
I can't answer that question. I mean, I see people all the time that I think are in the wrong job. They're not happy. If you don't like your job, it's torture. If you don't like your job, you torture yourself. You go to work every day, you're drudgy, you bring the people down around you. I would see sometimes teachers that may get a little frustrated with their job and they don't want to do it, but to name someone, I wouldn't do that. If you're not happy with what you're doing, then look for something else. And again, it's tough, because if you've been in a job a long time and you have benefits and a certain pay grade, but you're not doing yourself any favors, you're not doing the kids any favors, and you're not doing the city any favors. and that's just teaching. I mean, police, fire, any kind of municipal worker that deals with the public, could be a clerk at the window. If you're miserable, find something better for yourself, because you're not doing anybody
So
a favor.
probably I should not ask. I should not have one name. Probably I should handle you a paper, and you just had to put all those names down.
I would not put names on the paper, Carlos. What are you trying to do? I'm just
Take
saying.
a picture.
No,
Come on,
take a picture. People.
it's 2018.
I want people happy at work. I want people happy at work. It's important to be happy at what you do, because you'll do it better.
Adults like cartoons. What's your favorite cartoon?
God, I don't think I've watched cartoons in a long time.
Really?
No, I don't have any cartoons.
Did you watch it? The Frozen, Mermaids.
I did see Frozen, and I'll tell you why. The power went out, and we only had a little thing to watch, and it was the only thing on, and we watched Frozen.
Oh, really?
I did watch it, but I don't. It wasn't something I'd go to or see.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was different. I'm glad you pointed that out, but I did see Frozen. I think that was the last cartoon I saw. Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
I guess I know my guests. Name one thing that you will never buy.
That I would never buy? A real expensive car. I have friends that are car people. I just never been. If the thing runs nice and it works and it starts, it's got air conditioning, heat, seats for people, and it's comfortable, that's fine for me. But I see these people spending tons of money on these real expensive cars, and I've never been that kind of person. I don't think I want a nice car, but I don't want one of the $70,000, $80,000 cars. No, like you see these pros drive around, and that's not for me.
No. That's an expensive thing that you will never buy.
Never buy it.
So it's not on your list.
Not on my list.
Cereal or soup?
Both.
Both?
Cereal, I'm kind of getting off a little bit.
I hope not at the same time.
No. I'll have some hot cereal in the winter, but I like soup. I like Marzilli's minestrone soup. I'll eat that all the time. And I like Sherry's downtown has a good minestrone soup. I eat soup, especially in the winter. Now it's hot. I'm kind of off it a little bit, but I'll be back.
Ice cream flavor?
I like pistachio. I like butter pecan. Rum raisin. I'll eat any of them. Not the plain ones like coffee and vanilla and that stuff. I'll eat it, but...
Pizza or subs?
Both. Both.
We have a Portuguese here.
No, I'll eat both. I had pizza last night, and I'll have a sub for lunch tomorrow, so there's no question about that.
Yeah.
Go to Marzilli's and ask if Mr. Coogan's been in. They'll say we see him all the time. And Marcucci's too. I break it up so I don't wear it out the door. That's right.
Accomplishments. You have an accomplishment that you're happy that you did it.
I would say my biggest accomplishment was my longevity at Durfee High School, and how I was able to build a reputation as a solid member of the community there. You know, hard work, love the kids, show up every day, show up at all their events, make sure that they know I'm there for them. And lately, running for the school committee, fortunate enough to top the ticket twice in a row. Last time I didn't hardly spend any money at all. I had my old signs, I used them again, and it worked good. And the people in the city are very, very kind to me. I have no complaints. But school and the school committee, those are good accomplishments down the stretch.
If I make you invisible, will it be a place that you like to be?
I don't know, maybe a back room or one of these places where they're doing these deals that everybody talks about, and see what's really going on. I just sit there and say, what is this? Because everybody thinks, oh, well, they're talking about that and they're talking about this. I'd love to hear it too, because they're not talking to me about it.
And if I ask you a worst situation?
The worst situation? The worst situation I've ever been in sometimes is with teenagers that don't allow themselves to come back. They lose control of their emotions, anger, and then it turns into a scene where you're trying to ease them to a better spot in their life to make a more strong decision, but they can't control themselves, so it's a bad situation. we see it when you see these kids fighting at the parks or on the streets. I hate violence. I don't, I got knocked a number of times, Durfee, when you get in the middle of it, because I don't want to see kids hurting each other. But it's that's a bad situation when the kids really get angry and want to try to hurt each other. It's not good.
Family first or friends?
Oh, family first. I grew up in a family with 11 children, so there was 11 of us. And my mom and dad, my dad grew up on Oliver Street down near Kennedy Park. So it was different for us because we grew up in a dormitory. So I tell people, I said, when you're like 2 bunk bed sets in a room, and 2 bunk bed sets in the next room and 2 beds, and it's tough. You everybody becomes kind of independent as you get older because you already did all the loving sharing of everything, the towels, the tub, you're next in the bath water, you take it, and that's the way it was when we were kids.
If you had to lose something, what do you prefer to lose, a phone or a wallet?
I don't carry a wallet. I never carry a wallet.
So the phone would be a bad thing to lose.
Bad thing to lose, a real phone. I never had one for a long time. I had a flip phone, and the kids used to torture me and do it. Look at that phone, and they're all, they're Apple and iPad, and I'd take my phone and flip it up, and they'd walk down the hall laughing at me, and I'm saying, leave me alone. But it was, now I've got a Android phone, which works pretty well, so I don't want to lose that. I never carried a wallet.
Yeah.
No.
I know you have a lot of great moments. Can you share one?
Probably my last graduation. Every graduation you do when you're the vice principal for the class is very, very special. But my last one, the kids were great, and in 15, and it was a great moment. The kids were really excited. They kept saying my name, and they'd come up and they'd give you a hug, and it was great stuff.
We talked about movies a while ago. You don't watch cartoons, but you watch regular movies. So if I ask you probably the best movie that you could recommend.
Right now?
Yeah.
God, I don't know. I mean, I see them like, we get HBO and Showtime. You see them all the time, but they're movies now. Like I said, when I talked about The Godfather Part 2, those were movies that I remember, or they were great. These movies nowadays, they just roll them through. Some are good, like the Mission Impossible series with Tom Cruise. If you want to see an action movie, you're not going to lose sleep over it. They're going to jump out of a plane and they're going to fall off a wall, and that's what you're going to see. But it's entertainment, but it's not going to change your life. It doesn't give you a story.
What did you dream the most?
What did I dream the most? Okay, Carlos, where are we going with this stuff? But are you getting down there, Dr.
Yeah.
Dream? I don't know.
I want to put you to sleep.
I dream about my wife. I mean, she's right next to me, but I dream about her and what she's doing and where we're going to end up and what's going to happen, things like that. And then these crazy things where you're walking around.
So you worry about it for the future? You worry about what the future?
I'm not really worried about her. She's probably more worried about me because she's pretty self-sufficient.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Favorite kind of cookie?
Chocolate chip's fine. Chocolate chip with nuts. I like that.
Did you ever happen to drop the food and pick up and eat it without people watching?
What is this, a Seinfeld episode here? What are you doing to me, Carlos? Did I ever drop food and eat? Oh, I bet I have. And, we know, especially when you're a kid.
Yeah.
You were at a cookout or something, and I got to say I did, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I didn't, believe me. I had to have done that.
Do you sing?
I'd sing, yeah. All the time.
Where?
In the car, in the shower. I would never sing for people.
Oh, everybody sings on the shower.
In
I
the
have to tell
shower,
you
in the
this.
car, you turn the volume up and you look like a nut and people drive by laughing at you, but everybody does that.
About drinks, which you...
I don't drink that much. Bud Light. I'll have a couple of Bud Lights, but that's about it. I got away from drinking. I mean, I'll have a beer with you anytime you want, but I'm not a big drinker.
About dads, do you talk a lot about dads? Do you mind to talk about, or do you prefer not to talk about?
Well, my dad died a long time ago. So, I mean, I don't talk about him that much.
Yeah.
He like I said, he grew up on Oliver Street. He played basketball. He went to Providence College, and he had 11 children, so he was doing something he wanted to do. But I don't really talk about him. He's been gone a while.
How people commit in a perfect world? How you think people are committed to a perfect world? Think people are willing to make commitments for a better world?
I think some are. Okay, I think some are. I think some people think everything's going to be handed to them, and it's a scary proposition. I think hard work, and I think education, hard work, and putting your nose to the grindstone will definitely make for a better world for everybody. I think some people haven't got that message yet. I hope they do, because I think that would make them a lot happier and make the world a better place.
States. I got this question in here. If you had to get rid of a state, did you ever thought about that?
If I had to, what?
It's one state that you would like to not have it on the
Get
country?
rid of a state? Huh. I can't answer that. I don't know how the heck I'm going to do that. I haven't been to all 50 of them, so I don't know what they're like, but I couldn't say get rid of a state. There's people living there, and I'll end up getting burnt out of my house by somebody
matter
from
of fact,
Wyoming.
You'll be surprised the answers from our guests.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
To that question.
Get rid of a state. Holy moly.
Yeah, and a funny thing that happened to you, that you will remember as a funny thing that happened to you.
Funny thing that happened to me. I have funny things happen to me every day. Getting hit with a golf ball is always funny. There's a good laugh there. Is it whacks you in the head or something? Sliding on the ice. That we all do those kind of crazy things. They're funny. Trying to cross the street downtown now is funny because of all the dirt and the stuff, and the cars are coming, and it's funny.
We are pretty much on the final 2 minutes of our sit down and in a relaxed conversation.
Yeah.
How you think you recommend the show to other people to sit there?
Oh yeah, of course. This is relaxing. There's nothing wrong with this. And like you said, it gets people to see a little bit of your background and where you came from and what you did, and how things affected you. It's
things you like it because a lot of people that sit in there, people know them professionally, know them from all areas, politicians and all of that. But if you make it a question, if somebody makes me a question, what Paul Coogan likes to drink, I don't know. What the color Paul likes it, I don't know. And this is so things that people know are finding out about our guests. And with that, I want to thank you, Paul, for accepting being this half an hour sitting down with me and this very relaxing. We don't set up stages, we don't set up anything. It's just sit down and have a conversation. Thank you, Paul.
Carlos. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul. And we will come back in 2 weeks with one more person sitting right there on the hot seat.